I hope you're all stocked up on tinfoil, because I'm about to make a wild suggestion. I'm starting to think that perpetual up-and-comer in the Breadtube scene, Alec Gunter, is a GOP plant. He is an inky black optics vortex to a degree I'm not sure happens naturally. And in the one time I actually briefly spoke with him, we discussed optics. And he cares about it a lot. He's very critical of people who make his side look bad. Well, unless he thinks they might be a valuable connection. You know what, True, that's fair. That's really about optics.
Right.
What do you think if Card had leaked a folder from his computer where he'd been jerking off to cartoons of little girls getting f***ed? Would that be bad optics?
We're not talking about Vosh.
And he couldn't just refuse to talk about it. He had to go in for the defense.
No, I don't think that that's what was in the folder.
That's your judgment having seen it.
They were all marked as 18+.
If you're unfortunate enough to have seen the worst of what we were discussing there, you'll understand that's not a great look. And Alec seems to be magnetically attracted to this kind of blunder. Later last year, he actually had a sit-down talk with Vosh and dropped this gem.
Yeah, it's nice to see the younger generation really throwing it back, you know what I mean? Throwing it, not like that.
Now that's just a funny little misspeak. And when he spoke with me, I jumped in with something. Yeah, he probably should have expected it, but he just wasn't prepared. Some fumbling is understandable. But recently he had a quote-unquote debate with a guy called Remnant 777. Alec prepared for this. Alec, voluntarily himself, brought some touchy stuff to the table and proceeded to make a clown of himself. Remnant and Alec were arguing about violent rhetoric. Remnant accused Alec of encouraging violence. Alec said, "No you," and he brought ammo. He brought examples.
This particular tweet from you is about them making porn illegal in Texas. It says, it's a reply to somebody who disagrees with it. You said, the First Amendment isn't designed to shield evil. The founding fathers would have hanged such people. Cry harder, freak.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Do you find hanging people to be violent, Remnant?
Good job, Alec. You got him. Have to agree that's a statement of positive sentiment regarding violence towards certain people. Whether or not he's proved he doesn't do it, he's shown that Remnant does. But at what cost?
It's not bad as long as they're pedophiles. I don't have a problem.
Do you find
with
it
that.
violent?
Do you think that pedophiles shouldn't be hanged? Do you think that pedophiles should be protected?
Pedophiles? Excuse me? When did I say pedophiles? This is about banning porn in Texas.
Yeah, why did Remnant mention pedophiles? Well, the Texan bill in question sought to ban obscene depictions of minors, and the person he was responding to directly was quoting the Protect Act of 2003. In particular, amendments that include a definition of indistinguishable regarding depictions of minors. So I would tend to believe Remnant when he says that his tweet about the founding fathers hanging such people refers to pedophiles. So alright, Alec, you got him. That's violent rhetoric. But on an optics level, trying to own someone by getting them to say they hate and wish death upon pedophiles, it's, you know, not very effective. Makes you very vulnerable to further image attacks and inferences being drawn about your sympathies. What if I told you, though, that it gets much, much worse? They squabble for a while. Remnant tries to say his is different because it's about people wanting to diddle kids, and Alec just wants people to suffer for political disagreement. Alex disagrees and characterizes himself as wanting harm to people who wish harm on others, just a different kind of harm to that wished by pedophiles. Pretty standard for an internet argument until Alec goes for this gambit.
There's a difference between Hey and Happy, Ted Bundy dies compared to the person you disagree with.
I've never touched a child in my life. I've never touched a child in my life.
I never said you did. What do you mean?
What an odd thing to say. What are you doing?
But I tell other people, but what if I were to tell other people that I am a pedophile? Would you advocate for violence against me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd kill me if I was a pedophile, wouldn't you, you sicko? There's no reason for this. Why would you say if I did that? Just say if someone did that. I swear to God, Trump himself is paying this guy in cash under the table.
Yeah, no kidding. If you molested a kid, I wouldn't like you, Alec Gunter. Great job
No,
there.
I've never touched a kid. I've never touched a kid.
What?
Never touched one.
What are you even saying?
If you're scrambling to convince people you're not a child rapist, you messed up. You've done very badly in the debate. And he absolutely, voluntarily, unforced, put himself there. And he's not even getting that much out of it because Remnant has a response.
This is a hypothetical that I have constructed to demonstrate to you that after a certain point, violence is justified. Something that you agree with me on, correct?
To murderers and rapists.
So the trade-off here is, Alec Gunter calls himself a pedophile 100 times, in return for Remnant agreeing, yeah, violence is justified sometimes. I just have different standards for that. I'd suggest it was extremely not worth it. But at this point, he still hasn't fully realized how bad things are. Minutes later, he drops this bomb.
No, you disagree with me that I should be allowed to touch kids?
I almost threw up laughing the first time I watched this.
Like in this hypothetical?
What? What are you saying?
In this hypothetical, do you disagree? Take me out of it. It's weird calling myself.
Yeah, I would agree.
There we go. Finally. I wouldn't say he's salvaged it, but at least he's not digging any deeper. And it's a good thing too, because he needs to save his energy to dig other bizarre holes. Before we get to that though, let's defend Alec a bit. Maybe the reason he made this blunder was because he'd been thrown off kilter earlier. Remnant took a shot in the dark and seems to have hit something, even though Alec denies it.
I know, it's so funny. It's so funny, this joke that you made, right? Ha ha hoo hoo. I never thought as a kid, because I live in a white town with low crime kids who had both parents, we were civilized. What's the joke? Explain it. You can't.
Well, I do have both parents. Do you have both parents?
You cannot be slugging with people live like this and leave pauses like that.
What's the relevance?
Oh, wait, do you not actually have both parents? Are you fatherless or something? Wait, actually, for real?
Jesus Christ. This is more uncomfortable than the pedo stuff.
What's the relevance, man?
Oh, no way! Oh, I had no idea. That's funny.
You're so fucking stupid. Both of my parents are still happily married, you dipshit.
Alright, to each other, though?
I just said it was.
I'm sorry, you do give off fatherless vibes and all that stuff. Sorry.
You give off motherless vibes. I think your mother failed with you.
Well,
I think your mother should have had an abortion.
It really looks like a nerve has been touched, doesn't it? He sounds very molested in these clips, right? But I did some digging. Doesn't seem like he has family problems. Loves his mom, loves his dad, even though apparently he's a religious conservative. But Alec himself was a Trump voter in 2016. So what in the hell is going on in this debate with Remnant? I'm telling you, man, get the tinfoil out. He looks like a paid actor. And we're going to look at one last gaffe. Remnant has apparently made some less than politically correct racial comments, to say the least. This should probably be Alec's easiest angle, an easy win in the eyes of his audience. How could he mess this up? He presses Remnant about something he said in a tweet, and they get into an argument over rates of crime for different races.
Stats?
Okay, so is that from internal problems, like it's inherent to being black, like genetic? What do you think?
I think it's probably a mixture. What do you think, buddy?
Oh, okay, so it's at least a partial genetic component. Black people are just genetically inferior to white people. They're not as civilized, right?
No, I never said any of that, you dumbass.
You literally just said that there's a mix.
Yeah, there's a mix. So
white
everybody
supremacists,
committing
man.
crime and doing everything. What the fuck do you mean?
There you go, Alec. There's your free square on the bingo card. Guy says there's a genetic component to crime to any degree. You've got him. He's a racist. You win. Alec pulls a nice move, you know. Come on, stand by it. I know what you really mean. Tell us.
Dog, you won't stand by any of your fucking points. You're such a floundering...
But there's a problem. Remnant flips the question back on him.
Okay, wait. Let me ask you, why do you think black people commit crime? Let me ask you, why do you think black people commit more crime? Why do you think black people commit more crime? I'm curious about your beliefs.
It's a cultural thing.
This guy cannot be fucking real. He's trolling. Like, for my sanity, I need him to be a troll. How dare you suggest it's genetic? Actually, black people just love and value crime. It's their culture.
It's related to their income.
Okay, and it's related to their income. But it's already too late.
Wait, you're saying they have a bad, inferior culture. That's literally what you said. They have a bad and inferior culture because it causes more crime.
Now, of course, Alec didn't literally say that, but Remnant didn't say this either.
Black people are just genetically inferior to white people. They're not as civilized, right?
No, I never said any of that.
And it turns out Alec doesn't like tasting his own medicine.
I did not say that they have a bad and inferior culture. When did I say that?
So it's not bad that they commit more crime because of their culture? You literally attribute it to their culture.
No, I did not attribute it. I never even said the word culture.
Ooh, who's the slippery one now? Yeah, technically you didn't literally say the word culture. You said it was a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing.
That's attributing it to culture, I would say. Alec claims he simply misspoke and meant to say it's an economic thing. Entirely possible. Likely even. But if you're gonna misspeak this severely, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. Look man, Alec, if you ever hear this, I don't actually think you're a plant, but you should definitely look for compensation. You are doing valuable work for the right, at great cost to your personal dignity, and I think it's only right that they show some appreciation.